Welcome to Educate Africa with Dr. Sanele Kamete. It is quite a very interesting comment that I was just reading around the issue of social media and its power. I want us to spend some time together. As you can see, it's me and you once again. But before we dive into that, on a lighter note, I think I'm loving the power of social media. I'm loving what social media can do for many people, and I'm loving the opportunities that comes through social media. And I want you to capitalize on the issue of social media and monetizing content and all of that. I think as a career consultant, I need to emphasize the need to be careful on social media. You are aware that social media can build and break you. And because I love you, my educated one, I don't want social media to break you. So I want you to be very careful. I was going through some interesting content, some funny content, some disturbing content. And I want us to talk about those disturbing content where people are thinking, you know what, I'm having fun, I'm still young, but I think some of the content that you guys post, you don't look at the long term. I am thinking about you sharing that weird content. You know what I'm talking about. That, uncomfortable content that you normally share while you are thinking, you know what, I'm making money, I'm building my brand, and I want people to know me, which is good. But the question is, would we elect you as a minister with the type of content that you post on social media? I want you to be very careful about this. I know you will say, Sanele, I don't want to be a minister. I don't want, trust me. You will want 10 years from now, you will want to be a director of a certain company. You will want to be a CEO of a certain company. And people will be like, no, we can't be led by someone who have been sharing this type of content on social media. And it feels very, very sad when people go back to your social media and and sample some of the stuff that you posted when you were 21. Unfortunately, it is what it is. And this leads me to what I wanted us to talk about, or what I want us to dive into, which is self-discovery. I must admit, I don't like when someone ask me or asking me to tell them about themselves. You can hear I'm actually even not speaking properly when I'm talking about this, because when someone says, "Tell us about yourself," I it's a very awkward question. And I know that you also get scared, and sometimes you don't know what to say when someone asks you who you are. Unfortunately, as time went by, I realized that it is very, very important to discover who you are. Some people are doing what I have been talking about on social media because they haven't discovered who they are. In fact, people who haven't discovered who they are most likely to be discovered by some people. And when someone else discovers you, they are most likely to discover you for their own benefit. And in the long run, you might not like it. So it is very important that you discover who you are. It is very important that you sit with this question, uncomfortable as it might be, but I want you to sit with this question of who you are. So self-discovery is very important for everyone, especially for Africans. It's very important because for the longest time, it seems like the West has defined who we are through what we eat, through what we listen, through what we wear, and for many things, the type of education, the type of movies that we watch, everything. It seems like it's predetermined. It seems like there's already a catalog, or there's already a template that Africans have been designed for. And many Africans, they just fall for that template. And that's why I want you to sit down and discover who you are. It is very difficult to get confused if you discover who you are. Many people can't really understand whether they are sometimes males or females or whatsoever. And I don't want to get into that debate because it's a very nasty debate. But I think the biggest and most important part for your life is self-discovery. Discover who you are, and everything will fall into place. And I wouldn't leave you without helping you how to discover, because the episode will be pointless if I don't help you on how to discover yourself. And this question has been asked over and over and over to me. Sanele, how did you discover who you are? And how did you discover? Did you always know you are going to be who you are? Did you always know you are going to be a speaker? Did you always know that you are going to be a lecturer, a writer? The answer is no. There is no key to self-discovery. The key to self-discovery is you. And the reason I'm saying is you, it's because the minute someone discovers you, as I said, they will discover you for their own purpose. So it's you and your maker. So the best way to discover who you are is going back to consult the person who brought you here. And I know you are saying, should I go to my mom? Probably yes. Should I go to my father? Probably yes. Maybe you can get some insight before you go to the actual maker, the person who brought your mom, your grandfather, your grand, going back, and you will discover that it is the Almighty God. That's the person who brought you here. And the best way to discover who you are is going back to that person. It's like when you have a car, to those that drive a car, when you have a phone, to those that have cell phones, when it is damaged or it has a problem, you are most likely to take it back to the manufacturer, or you are most likely to go to take it back to the people who sold it, who are then going to take it back to the manufacturer, because no one knows the cell phone better than the manufacturer. So no one knows you better than you. And for you to know yourself, you then need to go back to the maker, to the person who brought you here. And it sounds like, Sanele, this is, I mean, you sound like you are in church right now, because I've always heard probably my pastor saying, go back to God and all of it. Unfortunately, there's nothing that I can offer beyond that. But maybe to help you, because we are in planet Earth and, we are not spiritually matured the same way and all of that. And we don't probably go to him the same way and understand him when he speak the same way. I will say, listen to yourself, listen to your body. And the most important thing to self-discovery is self. So make sure that you go back to listening to your body, to yourself, and you are most likely to figure yourself out. There are people who, when I sit down with them and I ask, how did you get to where you are? Most of them, they will say, I followed my heart, which sometimes it's the right thing, sometimes it's the worst thing you can ever do. But what they're trying to say is, no one told me to be who I am, because the biggest mistake is allowing someone to tell you to be who you are, is allowing social media to tell you to be who you are, is allowing TV, is allowing external factors to tell you who you are. This is very, very interesting, because not even your mom should tell you who you are. And of course, they will tell you, you are Sanele Kamete, you were born in this place, this is how you grew up and all of that. But how you figure out who you are, it takes you. So, and I want you to be deliberate about sitting down and discovering who you are. And the purpose will also be a contributing factor to helping you discover who you are. There are books that you can read, but there is no amount of books, there is no amount of motivation that is going to help you discover who you are. You have to be deliberate about understanding who you are. How I got to be a speaker? I spoke. I just spoke to people, which is natural for a human being to speak to human beings. How I got to teach is different because that is a career. It's not who I am. I'm not a lecturer. That's not who I am. I lecture. That's what I do, which is the difference. And most people don't differentiate properly these two. They use their careers as who they are. They call themselves teachers. You are not a teacher. You teach. And people that you teach call you a teacher, which means you can't call yourself a teacher. It is the person who you teach who is going to call you a teacher. You still have an assignment to sit down and discover who you are. And there is no other time, no other perfect time to sit down and discover who you are than this. And let me stress this. If you don't discover who you are, someone is going to discover you. And when they do, they are going to do it for their own purpose. I look forward to hearing what you have to say about this, and keep the comments coming, keep the feedback coming, and make sure that you tell your friend to tell a friend to come to this platform and get educated.